We live on a planet that is full of human selfishness, so selfish that we think we're alone in this universe. Does it make sense? A subculture narrative to our history states that we are not alone.
Absolutely frightening. This time, a collaborator, Gustavo Aleman, in Mérida, showed me this image in his cell phone, and I said, "Where did you get this?" And he said, "I got it from a friend." Who were the boys who did this incredible video? This happened around 2 o'clock in the morning. We don't know what it was, but this was amazing, and it happened to me, and he took my arm, and then he got afraid. He said that he didn't go to the place in more than 2 or 3 weeks because he was so afraid. There is no one proving that this is a hoax. Yes, I went to Mérida in Mexico because I was doing conferences. And sometimes when I did that, people got close to me to present me evidences. This time, a collaborator, Gustavo Aleman, in Mérida, showed me this image in his cell phone. And I said, "Where did you get this?" And he said, "I got it from a friend. He sent me through telephone this thing. Do you think it's real?" And I saw it, and I said, "Well, I don't know if it's real or not. I have to investigate."
We have an association that has been around for more than 16 years. Back in the day, the association was called OVNI Mérida. We created a ufology association here in Yucatan. So someone sent us this video, and at the time we showed Jaime the video, and we decided to make an investigation. Throughout the investigation, we met the people that were involved in this contact case.
He gave me the image, he put it in my phone. Next morning, I investigated what was the place where this had been done. It was el fraccionamiento del parque in Mérida. And looked in the fraccionamiento del parque, and I found the street where this happened. And then I asked people there, because nobody knew who were the boys who did this incredible video.
The Mérida alien was caught on live tape when all of a sudden this creature peeked out from behind a pole, trying to grab the arm of a young man that got too close. This location and 3 meters around it remained integrated with high levels of energy that are 1,000 times the normal levels. As time passed, this energy started expanding, thus reaching a more significant area and with considerable levels of energy. It even got to the nearby Mayan pyramid, Zenho, that was 165 meters away from the incident. Tercer Milenio thoroughly investigated this event, which is completely real. The nuclear physicist Jorge Guerrero registered this energy at 250 measurements at the place where it happened. The specialist in atomic medicine, Zohar Gutierrez, validated the presence of energy recorded with 2 scientific instruments, a Geiger counter and a magnetism sensor. When Jose Alonso Herrera, David Espada, and another young man were playing with a ball in the street in the residential community of Del Parque in Mérida, Yucatan, Mexico. It was almost 2 a.m. when the ball went against the pole. Watch and listen closely.
A ver, ¿dónde? Te juro que allá, atrás del poste algo me tocó. ¿Dónde está? Ya, pero no dejes de grabar, güey. No dejes de grabar, bro. Velo, güey. No.
In the analysis, you can see a being with a strangely shaped head and a long arm, with a height of 1 meter 62 centimeters. Between the pole and where the alien stretched its arm, there is a distance of 1 meter and 32 centimeters. It's a long arm for its height. His size is not proportional. This being isn't human. Tercer Milenio documented the case, and in various measurements, it was demonstrated that energy remained at an extraordinarily high level. 2 years later, directed by Jaime Maussan and accompanied by a television crew from Japan, witnesses and nuclear physicist Jorge Guerrero investigated once again in the place where this incident happened.
Lo que encontramos fueron cantidades injustificables de energía. Y lo afirmo de esta manera en virtud que la cantidad de energía es muy elevada. Esta energía en repetidas ocasiones la hemos nosotros logrado medir. Se mantiene.
Naturally speaking, this level of energy should not be at this place. This can be explained with the presence of a dimensional portal through which this alien manifested itself on our planet.
Está emanando directamente de la matriz del espacio-tiempo, o sea, del mismo lugar, de la esencia misma del espacio, del tiempo, de la realidad física de ese lugar, está brotando esa energía.
The specialist in nuclear medicine, Zohar Gutierrez, validated these measurements.
Certifico además que los instrumentos que él utilizó para la medición son verdaderos, son ciertos. Se trata de un tipo de energía no iónica, es decir, se trata de energía pura. No son electrones libres, no son partículas de helio libres. Estamos hablando de paquetes de energía pura que no tienen interacción real con la materia.
Observamos nosotros que en los primeros meses después de que se manifestó esta entidad, la energía era constante, muy elevada, situándose entre los 40 hasta los 49 Röntgen por hora, en un radio muy inmediato al poste, 3 metros alrededor nada más. Apenas sí nos fuimos acercando nosotros hacia el equinoccio de otoño del 2005, la energía comenzó a bajar de intensidad aquí, pero a repartirse en el entorno.
The energy started expanding. Initially, it was measured at 49 Roentgens, but it decreased to 4 and 10 per hour. Possibly a dimensional portal was open for at least 2 years until 2007, where there was no more registration of this mysterious energy that remained in place precisely where it was filmed. Precisely where it was filmed. Mereda's Alien. People sometimes regard ufology and the paranormal phenomena to be isolated in just the United States. But if one were to believe this happened all over the world, could it be possible that visitations happen by beings of non-human origin? Jaime Maussan, over the past years, has investigated some incredible video.
The men that were boys when this was shot, they're kind of scared to talk about this now.
What happened in this case, when the mainstream media got a hold of it, it was incredibly negative. We started the investigation, and the media started taking advantage of the situation. They wanted to create a polemic discussion. There was a lot of controversy, a lot of aggression towards the kids. It painted them in a very poor light.
No, then many people said, "Oh, it's a joke. It's a mask. Somebody did, a friend of them." No, it's been almost now 14 years and nothing has happened. Where is the mask? Where is the man who did it? And how it was possible to put so much radioactivity in the area? And why you cannot see half of the body of the creature? You see, this case is really impressive. These people never looked for me to give me the video. They never asked me for money in so many years for the video, for anything. You see, there is no reason to make this joke. And when I interviewed them, they were still afraid of the creature because they know it was real. They felt it was real. We don't know what it was, But this was amazing, and it happened to me, and he took my arm, and it was so cold, I couldn't believe how cold it was. And then he got afraid. He said that he didn't go to the place in more than 2 or 3 weeks because he was so afraid. I really think, if you ask me personally, this creature was trying to take this boy with him. There was no craft, no UFO, probably just an opening to a different dimension. I don't know. I don't really know. But there is no other explanation for me. There is no one claiming that or proving that this is a hoax. This happened in the UK. This happened near London. This is an incredible story. Back in 1999, a man that was sleeping in his house heard his dog barking so much he thought an intruder was trying to get into his home. He looked around, he came outside, and then he looked to the sky, and there was a huge UFO above his house, a triangular-shaped UFO. He went inside his house for an infrared camera, a very novel infrared camera, and he took it out. Then he heard noises in the garden close to his house, and he got close there, and he recorded a short video of very strange creatures going around his garden. He didn't know what to do with this video, and then he went to the M6 and he gave this video to them. And they told him not to tell anyone or make any copy of this or anything with this video because it was national security. Then they had this video in a computer, but this computer got a virus. And it seems that they didn't find any expert who could get rid of this virus. And then they called some hackers, some young people who came and fixed the computer. And somehow they got across this incredible video, and they made 6 pictures out of it. They didn't get the video, they got 6 pictures. Nobody saw that, nobody realized they had done it. They took it out, and then they gave these pictures to a site, insidious.com. And this site presented the photos and the story. But then suddenly, like 3 or 4 weeks later, the site completely disappeared. I couldn't find anyone related to the site. I don't know what happened to the kids. Someone told me 20 years ago that one of the kids who have done this went to prison. I don't know for how long. All I know is that it seems that we were one of the very few who got these copies and who got this story. If you try to find it, you won't. You won't find it anywhere. And nobody has this story, and nobody's repeating. We analyzed every frame, and we found exactly the sequence and at what time the frames belong. 30 seconds, 1 minute, and so on. The first one was taken 30 seconds after the beginning of the video, and the last one 2 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. But I still believe, because if you look to the sequence, it makes a lot of sense. If you look to the creatures, it makes a lot of sense. There is no story, there is no reason, there is nothing. Nobody's talking about this, nobody's claiming anything, and it's just there. And insidious.com disappeared forever.
23 years ago, in the city of Pretare de Arquanta, in the province of Ascoli Piceno in Italy, there was a case of a humanoid being seen at night by credible witnesses. Its morphology was quite strange. Perhaps this case is about a being that was witnessed from another world. Many believe it to be an authentic case. In Italy, this case has received plenty of attention. Filiberto Caponi, a young man, had the opportunity to take 6 photographs from a strange being that he saw on different days outside his house. He managed to take this sequence of photographs with a 160 Polaroid camera that his brother-in-law bought for him. This first encounter was in the afternoon of May 9th, 1993. Filiberto saw a small being with humanoid characteristics, and it looked like its skin was burnt. It was covered from the waist down. It was also covered by a strange liquid that seemed like blood. At this point, he didn't have the camera with him. May 24th, 1993. Filiberto had the opportunity to photograph the being that he had been seeing of late nearby the area where he lived. This is the first photograph he took when he heard something outside his house. When he opened the door, he discovered something moving that looked like a plastic bag, and inside of it, a being. The second photograph that was taken in this sequence, the strange being can be seen more clearly, and how it was coming outside the bag which it was covered. Its head is visible. You could see it where the arrow is pointing. Filiberto retreated after taking the second photo back inside of his home in fear, and he closed the door, only to tell his local priest, some friends, and the local newspaper about the event. The third photograph was taken on August 11th, 1993. He took a picture of the being where it was sitting, looking directly at him. After the photograph's flash went on, the being stood up, ran away incredibly fast after Filiberto took this photo. In the fourth picture taken on August 20th, 1993, when Filiberto opened his window, he saw the being sitting on the ground, and there he was able to capture 2 pictures. In the first one, we can see the being from its side, and we can also see its chest, how there are some tubes protruding out of it. They looked as if they were non-organic, some sort of external device. It looked like they were artificial appendages. On the second photograph, the being's body turned and we can clearly see the tubes. According to Filiberto, the being was covered with a strange, vicious liquid. 2 of the best photographs that this young man captured. You can clearly see the morphology of this being. Its feet look unique in a 3-toed hoof-like formation. After these 2 photographs were taken, the being ran away and escaped. This last photo, number 6, taken on September 20th, 1993, the being is standing just underneath Filiberto's window. This is where he and his grandmother could see it perfectly. The grandmother was afraid and started yelling. The being, startled, quickly ran away after this. This is the last photograph he was able to capture. The being presents an odd morphology. The tubes on the thorax resemble something like we see on amphibians on our planet, with their organs exposed. This case of Filiberto Caponi is very deep and an extraordinary event. This is an archival report from Tercer Millennio.
So it's 2010, you're contacted. Tell me how you guys follow.
In 2010, Hilda Estrada, an investigator in Monterrey, got across an incredible case. This man, who didn't believe in UFOs, by the way, had been able to record in different occasions a little creature, sometimes visible, sometimes invisible to the eye, but very clear to the camera. And you can see in different videos this creature moving around his house. It's an amazing case. The Gabriel Sanz case, I believe is absolutely real. Small creature that probably was living in his house, because he heard sometimes, every time he heard the noises that he related to this creature, he took his camera and he was able to record it. That's the reason. The first time he was alone in a hurricane, the Alex hurricane in July 2010, and he was, like moving like me in a chair like this, with a camera and recording himself. And then when he does this, the creature is back there. It's when we realized that it was there. And in other occasions, when he heard the noises that he related to this creature, he took the camera and he realized that he didn't see it, But in the camera, it's very clear that this little thing comes down the stairs, go up the stairs, move around a bed.
In Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, there has been many reports of strange apparitions of a being that has also been filmed on different occasions, making it very clear that something very strange is happening down in Sultana del Norte. That is why Tercer Milenio's team went to the location to meet with Gabriel Sainz, owner of the video and main witness. This investigation was done alongside Gilda Estrada. She had been close to the case, and in different occasions, she has confirmed that something strange is happening to Gabriel in this place. This is the building where Gabriel has been able to film the apparition of this being. In apartment 15, we met with him and the other ex-tenant. He was a normal person with a normal life, but that radically changed as he witnessed something that he couldn't understand. It went beyond reason. His testimony corroborates the videos where a strange being visited the apartment, a being described as having an enormous head, big eyes, and of small stature. Starting in October 2010, Gabriel started recording a video to help sell sunglasses out of his home. This is when he saw he was not alone. Check out the first video Gabriel shot through the window of his apartment with his phone. Observe closely the left side of the screen. Suddenly, we could see a small, clumsy shadow coming down the stairs. It starts coming down the stairs little by little. It's a small humanoid figure. His consistency doesn't look physical. It looks more like an invisible being. Now look at how this figure goes down the stairs, then back up. Check out this close-up of this being. According to Gabriel, since he started to perceive this weird presence, he decided to start recording with his phone inside and outside his apartment, places where he would hear weird sounds. That is how he was able to film this first video, right on these stairs.
This first video is where I had the chance to record how this kind of child-sized being goes down and up the stairs. When I checked the video, I could see the being walking.
Now, let's check this other video filmed from inside the apartment. The witness heard a strange noise near his bed. So he grabs his phone and starts recording. Here we could see the window where he began filming the video we just saw before. At the moment when Gabriel starts filming his bed, you can see this weird and small being. Observe now this moment. Observe now the left side of your screen where you can see a small being again. A shadow that walks slowly, shifts from left to right, stops for a second, then comes back. The video ends there. Let's see it again, but now in slow motion.
Is it possible that this is the same being that we saw before going down the stairs? About 4 months later, I filmed another one on the side of my bed. I also heard noises. It sounded like a laugh. It was dark. It was around 9 p.m. So I started filming towards the bed, and later, when I saw the video, I started thinking that it might be the same being as they are both around the same size.
This area is where the second video was filmed.
Nearby, here is where I looked at the being. It looked like a shadow wandering.
There are clearer evidences that were recorded with the cell phone by Gabriel, backing up his testimony. However, these videos are not the only ones Gabriel has recorded. This is an archival report from Tercer Milenio.
I think she became sick, it's true. I barely remember, but I remember that the picture was taken by a little girl, that she was attacked, that the family didn't want to give her name to protect her, and that this creature was absolutely real. There is not much more that I can tell you because they were very discreet. They just gave me the picture and that was it. And they told me that was taken by a little girl and that this being had been observing this girl in different occasions until she got this camera and was able to take this picture. It's an amazing video where you can see this father is recording his son playing baseball, and then you see in the back a creature that is flashing, you know, like creating lights. Nobody looks to this creature. And according to this father who recorded this image, he never saw it until later. Even the kids that were close to this creature didn't see it. And just because of that, this evidence really amazed me. I'd never seen anything like this before.
How did you guys follow up to prove the credibility of the video? Could it have been animated?
Well, no, because it was recorded with a cell phone. And people in the United States, Canada, England, Australia have to understand something. These Mexican people don't know anything about computers. I mean, when you see this video recorded with a cell phone, what do you mean that this man planned this, recorded the video, and then took it to an expert, and he put the image? For what? There's no reason. I mean, you cannot say every time you see an evidence, you can see it's a hoax, this man is lying, he has to prove it. He don't know how to prove it. He just told me I was recording my kid. Do you think he's lying? Why? Why if he doesn't want fame? Why if he doesn't want money? Why if he doesn't want anything? He doesn't want anything. Are you going to say it's a hoax? Why? Why? That is no reason. And I have to believe in my instinct. I've been a journalist for 50 years. I know when someone is lying to me. I know when I have come across every kind of single human being. I mean, criminals, delinquents, politicians, corrupt people, honest people, innocent people, you know, very humble people. Then I know, I am a journalist and I put my reputation every time I present something like this. That's my warranty. If somebody can prove that this man was recording his son in a baseball park to create a hoax, okay, prove it. Prove it. He's presenting, he's putting his face, he's putting his name, I am putting mine for no reason. Then until somebody proves that this is a hoax, I will believe that this was real.
It was the 10th of November, 2014, during a child's baseball game in Borundas Park in the city of Juarez. They recorded the presence of an invisible being at simple sight, but through the cell phone recording, it was possible to record this being. The boys felt a presence, but no one could see it. This is the video Armando Martinez sent to Tercer Milenio. Yes, it looks like it's shining, reflecting an energy very strange. Some lights. We thought it was an energy reflecting the figure, but we don't know how to explain it. What is happening there, but physically no one could see it. Only by seeing the video, we saw this figure. It started moving like it was observing something in the boys' interaction. The video was recorded by Ismael Carrillo. with his cell phone shows this being. But at the moment of recording, he wasn't aware it was there. What did you see? Well, I don't know. It was then when it impacted me, because I saw it behind the children. We saw it and we replayed it to someone who could tell me where to look because I wasn't seeing anything. My wife paid more attention to the video than me. When she told me, "Look, there it is," this is when I said, "Oh, wait, what is that?" In our analysis, we verified seeing a being with video enhancements. Pay close attention to this point. You can clearly see how the being starts walking. A boy that is kneeling on third base seems to realize there is something there. He turns around on 2 occasions towards the being and it is standing. Then it walks. You can clearly see it. The boy definitely realized something was there. In this filter, we could see the strange figure with a kind of energy, which in some moments seems to shine or flash. The being looks the size of the kids that were at the game, and it seems that nobody realized the presence of the being, as if this one was invisible to the human eye. In this other filter, we can see that the being presents volume, and we can observe a humanoid silhouette. It seems to emit energy. Here in the close-up, you can observe how it shines, like if this being was wearing a special suit that would make it not visible in common sight. Here we could even see how 2 kids pass nearby the being. This is the original video, and you can clearly see how the being is standing there, where there are many kids around and no one seems to see it. An invisible being that was recorded thanks to a cell phone.
Correct in recording something that's observing us, but we can't observe it. What do you think is happening? Like, why do you think this sort of event is taking place?
It's very difficult to understand how a camera that was not infrared recorded this creature. Why they want to be invisible? Well, probably because of protection. But how is possible that nobody sees this creature? Don't you think everyone in the park would be attracted to someone who is very little and is flashing all around? Everybody would look to turn, see what is going on here. What is this? I mean, if this was publicity for something, everybody would be amazed. The little kids would go to that thing because it was small, and nobody did. Nobody looked at this creature. And you cannot say it was a plan. Everybody is participating in this hoax because they were little kids. Just consider for 1 second if the Zimbabwe incident in September 1994, if this happens now, with all the kids with a cell phone, with a camera, can you imagine 5, 10 kids recording the same extraterrestrials, presenting them the same day in the afternoon on YouTube all around the world? How could you discredit this? And you can really, with a Photoshop, try to light it up. You can see something strange. It's away, but look into them. In the next, it's the same kind of thing, but now you see this creature or whatever it is going away, running. And in the third one, this man is trying to get the attention of the man with the flash, saying, "Look, the animals inside. They are afraid. Put the light there." He's Fernando Cárdenas, and the man with the camera is Ivan Geraldo Cisneros. And they got this picture, but then next day, they saw something in the back. You see, we have analyzed this. Could this be a dummy? Yes. Could this be a hoax? In the camera, in the image? No. It's not a hoax in the image. exactly like the last case. It's not a hoax in the image. Can they be dummies? Yeah. It's very difficult to go against that. I mean, but when you have so many cases, we have 2 so far. What's the size? We believe is a yard or 80 centimeters, something like that. My friend Dan Iria helped me, he's around, I don't know if he's here, but he made an analysis on these pictures, and his conclusion was that this was real. He couldn't say again if this is a dummy. These kids went to an excursion, a day in the fields. They went with a group, a religious group. They went to the camp to have a nice day. And when they were coming back, they decided that the guide didn't know the terrain, and they thought they knew the terrain. They said, we can go faster if we go alone. And they took a different route. But this place is full of serpents, diamondbacks. I mean, full of serpents. Hundreds, huge, dangerous serpents. And they were there surrounded by serpents, and they decided to go in a tree, up in the tree. And when they were there, they saw, what is that? Oh, they saw a UFO. One of them was a controller. He was 21 or 22, and he was an air traffic controller. And he said, wow, that's not an airplane, not an helicopter, this is an airplane. And then they look 2, 3, they look a formation all around the tree, and they were completely, upset. They didn't know what to do, but they decided to stay because they were so afraid of the serpents in the ground. 2 hours later, the UFOs disappeared, and then they saw lights coming. Hey, we are here. Come on, we're here. They are coming to help us. We have to call them. Come. And these lights went off. Did you see them? Yeah, I saw them. What do you think? I don't know. They were coming to help us. I don't know. And suddenly, all of them, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yes, I am. Hundreds of little creatures around the tree. And I mean, hundreds of them. One of them tall, others small, some invisible, some phosphorescent or fluorescent. They came to the tree. They went up to the tree. They looked to them like this. They went above them. They climbed to the top of the tree. A UFO came, and they went up and down to the UFO, and they were very much afraid. And the big one, the older one, said, they are friends. Don't worry. They won't hurt us. They are friends. Because one of the kids was just 13 years old, Salvador Villanueva. Lamoni was 16, and he was something like 22, 21, Raul Fabricio. And they stayed there. One of them fall from the tree because they were sleepy, but they gave him a belt. He took the belt and went up like this, because they were really, really scared of what was happening. Around 5 o'clock in the morning, the creatures disappeared. And then they decided to come down from the tree, and they took the road, and they found their families going out. And then we made a regression, a hypnotic regression to the kids. And you know what impressed me? When they remember his lips, like very dry, suddenly dry. Remembering, exactly, it was a physical reaction. You cannot you cannot reproduce or hoax this.
There's a series of events and evidences that make us think that at the northern frontier of Mexico, for some strange reason we are still trying to decipher, some cases have occurred regarding beings from another world and their crafts flying above, having been seen in close proximity by many people in this inhospitable and dangerous area. This has led us to know different cases and do follow-ups. However, the case that has caught our attention the most was this case about 3 young men that were lost in the Aedo Guadalajara dos Desert, very close to the Tecate community in northern Baja California, an area known as La Rumorosa, a fantastic and mysterious adventure that made us go to the limit, an experience that got us closer to the unknown. Everything started in the hottest month in 1997. And they came even shaking. And I asked them, why are you shaking? And they said they were scared. They had seen aliens, that some small figures walking around, and that they were hiding up a tree. A story that should shock us from beginning to end. The night was May 18th, 1997. 3 young friends, Raul Fabrizio Garcia, Lamoni Gonzalez, and Salvador Villanueva, decided to go on an excursion to a place known as the Cascade, an oasis in the middle of the Rocky Hills, 50 kilometers away, a place of beauty, flora, fauna, desert snakes, and big rocks. A place of unparalleled beauty but full of danger. These young men couldn't find the group that they went there searching for, therefore they chose a trail that they thought would take them back home. However, things got worse. They got lost, and then they encountered several rattlesnakes which are common in the area. As a result, they were forced to go up a tree, in which they found refuge and decided to spend the night there. The next morning they would try and find the original trail. However, their adventure was just starting. We were very tired. We couldn't go up that hill, so we decided to stay on it. I call it a hill because it wasn't a mountain, but it was a very rocky hill. So we asked ourselves, should we sleep on the ground or up in the tree? And we decided that it was safer to sleep in a tree in case there were wildcats or any other wild animals near the area that could harm us. We felt safer being up that tree. We were up the tree talking, and then Fabrizio was looking up in the sky, and he asked, "What is that?" So I looked up, and we saw a spaceship. It was moving. It was a spaceship. Was it round? Yes, it was round. Had the form of a disc with 3 small windows. I say they were windows, or at least that's what it looked like. There were 3 squares that flashed different lights, purple, orange, and some greenish color. I could see it from a distance, and I could definitely see movement that it was doing in front of the hill on the top. I could see it from a distance, but I could definitely see movement that it was doing in front of the hill on the top. I started seeing lights. What did you see? I was looking towards the hill and started wondering what those lights were. I thought the group came looking for us, so I started yelling, "We're here!" But no one answered. We were sleeping on the tree, and beings started to surround the tree. So I said, let them do what they came to do. We shouldn't bother them. We don't know what their intention is, and what could happen for us just being there. So I said, shut up. No one talks. No one say anything. Everything was going good. Then we saw there were a lot of them. They looked like scattered, but in small groups, like 3 or 4 per group. There was like 20, 50 meters away surrounding the tree. We kept looking for them and saw they were even behind us. If it is true that the presence of these small beings was already an unusual event, they were practically everywhere surrounding the tree where the young men were hiding. But curiously, when they looked up, they would see many UFOs with the form of a disc in which they were floating in the sky, creating what seemed like a geometric shape in the air just above the tree where they were. We looked up, and we saw many UFOs. and they were floating, making geometric shapes. The one figure I can't forget was when they formed a triangle. A perfect triangle, one UFO here, one UFO there, and above that one, they formed a bigger triangle. And they even made squares. There were so many they looked like a fleet. And they weren't so high because an airplane passed by around 11:30 or 12. And that plane passed way above them. Now, I'm talking about the UFOs that made the geometric figures. They were at a distance. Other ones were closely near the top of the tree. And that spaceship was the size of a car, not that big. It was rounded and it had windows. What seemed strange to me was that the tree measured about 30 feet. Right? No. Feet. Meters, like 8 meters high. We were there. The tree was 15 meters. I could see the spaceship sending signals like lights. And well, like a flash from a camera, and then the leaves would be moving, and the aliens would be going up. And the door would open for them to get in, and others would come down, like going in and out. I think they were taking stones, or whatever they were looking for, and they would take it to the spaceship. According to the testimony of these young men, the beings didn't only take objects from that place, but also the beings were very aware of the presence of these three young fellows through a device that seemed to look carefully at them. Then, at the precise moment, these small humanoids started getting closer to the tree, starting a third type of contact.
You know, fortunately, I went to investigate. I almost stepped on a serpent, by the way, because it's true, it's full of serpents. I almost died there. The temperatures are really, really high. There is no water around. It's a very difficult place. Believe me, it's a very rough terrain. And that night, when we were there with them, they called me 2 o'clock in the morning. This is May 27th, 1999, 2:05 in the morning, and they said, "What is that?" Then I saw a little creature, phosphorescent, very bright eyes, going around. It was small, and then they said, "There." And a second one was coming in the middle of the rocks. I took my cameras, I tried to record. I took some photographic equipment and took photographs. Nothing came out, unfortunately for me, but I saw them.
And you looked through binoculars?
I looked through binoculars. What I saw, the eyes were incredibly bright. It was phosphorescent, green phosphorescent, fluorescent. It's something that I cannot prove because I saw it. We were 6 people, and all of us saw this. One of them was a guide who all the time was making jokes to us. You know, the extraterrestrials are coming, they're going to pick you, and so on, and stupid things. At that time, I looked for him to ask him what it was, and he was inside his sleeping bag, covered to his face. Next morning, I asked him, "What did we see?" And he said, "I don't know, that's a revelation from God." And I said, no, it was a lion. No, it's not a lion. Okay, it was a deer. No, it's not a deer. It's a revelation from God, and I don't do anything about that.
So, what was the shape of the creature?
All I saw, they were like 70, 100 meters away from us. This is a big cliff, impossible to go down. They were thin, they were big head, and phosphorescent to the feet. It's all I can tell you. And the eyes were so bright. I compared the eyes like Venus, when Venus is very, very bright. It's something like that.
Were they a certain shape or just sort of circular?
Yeah, no, the light, you just saw two lights, two very bright eyes there. And this happened 2 years after they had the experience. And it's very possible that they were the same kind of creatures. Everybody remembers. Carlos Clemente remembers. You can ask him if, I don't know if he told you about it. And it's real. It's all I can tell you. It's an incredible case.
So we went to investigate the case of Lamoni, Raul, and Salvador. It was 2:05 in the morning when we started seeing a luminous light in the ravine. One was standing, and another luminous being was behind a rock. It was moving. You could see the fluorescent luminosity. When Jaime started seeing with the binoculars, he said he could see the eyes. I was seeing it like a candle. Then he taps my shoulder and gives me the binoculars. And I start seeing pretty well. The bushes, the rocks. It had good focus. And then I saw that it was something fluorescent long. And on the top, I saw two red lights, like if there were eyes. And at that point, I could see the being moving, and it was alive. I got afraid. I stood backwards and I started to film with two cameras that I had brought with me. But we weren't nearby the beings, therefore the cameras couldn't record it. In order for me to record it, I would have had to turn on a light. But I was afraid that they would see us, so I didn't do it. After 5 minutes, one of the luminous beings got lost behind a rock, and then the other one started moving behind the bushes. And Lamoni and I got close to the ravine. We couldn't go any further, and we saw it with the binoculars until it got lost. It was around 10 minutes that we were seeing these beings. It was something very stunning, very interesting, because it was in a place where they told us these things happen. And in that early moment, we had a chance to see it too.
Well, okay, when we were going out, we had to go through a soldier checkpoint. It's a checkpoint for drugs. It's very close to the border, and in Mexico, all around the border, there are always checkpoints to stop drug dealers from going to the U.S. And when we told them what we were doing there, one of them called me and told me that this was true, that this has happened to them. They have seen the creatures, they had seen the UFOs, and this was very constant. But he couldn't say that openly or to anybody because he was military. It's all I can tell you.
We are going to show you the images obtained in the city of Nezahualcóyotl, where a mysterious being that appeared floating and then walking on the street. It was recorded by security cameras as well as a mysterious being in a parking lot in Mexicali in the north part of Mexico. We continue with 3 amazing cases. One here in the city of Ciudad Neza, nearby Mexico City, recorded barely a few days ago. Also in the Park Barunda in Ciudad Juarez and Mexicali. These cases prove that these beings are really on our planet. I don't want to say coexisting, because that is what some people think. Simply that these beings are here, and we know this because of multiple evidential events. We continue with this investigation with Carlos Clemente. December 26, 2018. It was 1:24 a.m. Dr. Jaime Luna Becerra and his daughter had an encounter with a strange being, the one which came floating down from the sky to the road and then seemed to walk 2 security cameras outside the house of Dr. Becerra recorded how the strange being was moving in infrared light. In this moment, it presents what could be extremities and starts walking. Dr. Becerra got a few minutes more to observe face-to-face the being that was nearby the tree. Alongside his daughter, they saw how the being started walking towards them. Frightened, they quickly got inside the house. It called my attention that on the left side, where the speed bump is in front of the house, you could see a luminous sphere that was going up and down, up and down. And at first I thought they were Christmas decorations, some lights that people had put up. But then I realized it couldn't be, because suddenly it was walking, and then it would walk again. So that is not normal. I stared at it for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then I told my daughter, I don't know. Maybe it's an extraterrestrial. She quickly ran away, and I got the attitude to get closer. But when I wanted to go closer, the being started camouflaging, like a human form. But at the same time, it was transparent. And then it started coming my way. So I started walking quickly towards the house. But my daughter closed the front door, so I had to go in the other side. I saw the lights on the street. The lights weren't like Christmas lights, and they couldn't be, so my dad asked me, "What do you see?" And I said, "Well, the lights, they're getting closer." And he told me, "What do you think it is?" And I said, "I don't know, Father," but I got afraid, and I was nearby the door, and my dad was standing in the middle of the road. And then my dad told me, "It's coming back," so I was afraid, and I quickly ran inside, closed the door, leaving my father outside. Rocio Bocanegra Martinez, Luna Becerra's neighbor, also accounts with her security cameras at her home, and she was having a video showing the presence of this strange being. On the footage, you could clearly observe how it starts descending from the sky. Then it moves a few centimeters on the road in a horizontal position. At the end of the images, we can see even clearer the weird shape of this being that, according to Dr. Becerra, it shifted forms while it was moving. A strange being that surprised these good people.
There's hackers like Gary McKinnon in the UK who famously hacked NASA servers and downloaded images. He almost went to jail for life for what he did. Do you believe that security agencies around the world want to keep this secret?
Absolutely. They know, the security agencies know, that sooner or later, one of these cases is going to go out. It's going to be in YouTube, and it's going to be recorded by different people at the same time. Just consider for 1 second if the Zimbabwe incident in September 1994, if this happens now, with all the kids with a cell phone, with a camera, can you imagine 5, 10 kids recording the same extraterrestrials, presenting them the same day in the afternoon on YouTube all around the world? How could you discredit this? The agencies are ready to give up. You have to remember John Podesta talking when he said, he wrote in a tweet, "The only thing that I regret working for Obama is that I couldn't open the ET phenomenon." And he became the manager, the chief of the campaign of Hillary Clinton. And she said, "I'm going to open this." And I was rooting for her because I knew she was going to do it. I know the Pentagon, I know the military were ready because they cannot keep this secret so much longer. One of these days, it's going to come up. It's going to, it's going to blow. The Chinese now have an incredible radio telescope for 1 kilometer in diameter, something like that, and they are looking for signals, and they are looking, and everyone is looking for life. The Europeans, the Indians, everyone. This is changing so fast. You are going to have the big telescopes like ALMA in Chile, or other the telescopes that are going to look to the infrastructure on different planets. They're going to look for cities. They're going to look for satellites around the planets. The James Webb Telescope that is going to be on orbit on 2020 or 21 is going to look for infrastructure. There is not much time for the agencies. They have to open. The first try was on December 16th, 2017, when the New York Times presented this information. And Luis Elizondo from the Pentagon came up and said, yeah, I'm resigning there because I want this to be open. And they presented 3 incredible videos. And nobody has been able to discredit that. Nobody. Then what happens? We have the evidence right there. It's the first time they tried something. And we know there are people investigating materials. No? And I think very soon we will have a big surprise coming from the agencies. They better do, because one of these days there is going to be a case that they won't be able to control as they did in the past.